Inside the Classroom is brought to you by NYSUT, a union of more than 600,000 professionals dedicated to education, human services, and healthcare. NYSUT is proud to partner with parents in advocating for what students need. We stand for excellence in public education from preschool through post-grad. Find us online at nysut.org.
Hi, I'm Ashli Dreher, and we're here with another episode of Inside the Classroom. Today we're here with Robyn Brydalski, a third grade teacher at Ben Franklin Elementary School in the Kenmore Tonawanda School District. Welcome, Robyn.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you went to school and what you teach and how long you've been teaching.
Well, I just finished my 17th year in the classroom. I've actually been teaching for 18 years. I started as a substitute teacher in Kenton. I've taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, all in Kenton, and I was also a district-wide mentor.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've been in other buildings as well in Kenton.
Yes.
You've had some consolidation going on in the district and some schools closed and things like that. So tell us a little bit about your different buildings that you've served and what grades you've taught there.
I started my career at Roosevelt Elementary School, 3rd grade, and then just due to the shifting and being low man, I was bumped to Thomas Jefferson Elementary, and I spent over 11 years there. And then during that time, I taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, also left the classroom for 2 years to be a mentor. And unfortunately, Thomas Jefferson was the first building that was closed in Kenton, and that's how I ended up at Franklin Elementary.
So it's very difficult when a school closes to adjust to, you know, your new family, because people are all shifting around. So you have people pulled from different buildings, and you really have to develop that professional learning community that you're so comfortable with. And able to like be yourself and learn from others and that kind of thing. I know we have, you said you were a mentor. Tell us a little bit about that, because I know I teach at Lewiston Porter and we're starting a peer collaboration model this year, and I'm very excited about that because we'll be able to go in and observe other teachers in the classroom and then give them some feedback. So it'll kind of be a way to really get our professional learning community excited, but learn from teachers teaching teachers, which is our motto at NYSUT as well. So I'm very excited about peer collaborating and having someone to work with on our faculty and learn from as well. So tell us a little bit about your role as a mentor and what that is for the Kenton District.
The mentor program was by far, I was a product of the mentor program. I was mentored for 2 years. And coming into a classroom, not having any idea about the behind the scenes of everything that a teacher is expected to do. You know, we know we have to teach every day, but there's the data collection, there's going to meetings, there's that professional development aspect, and it's sifting through everything and organizing it all that the mentor truly helped with. My mentor was the teacher that was in my classroom prior to me, so she was a 3rd grade teacher, so she would come and model lessons for me, and it was fantastic. Our mentor program was recognized by NYSUT and AFT as really a top-notch mentor program because we had teachers on special assignment that their sole purpose was to help other teachers. Your first year you had a mentor come in once a week, and your second year you were in phase 2 and you had a mentor work with you once a month, and you were part of a collaborative circle where you worked with other new teachers. You would go into their classrooms, you would observe them teaching, give them feedback, so that peer collaboration started from the onset. It was quite powerful.
So what do you think of this charter school movement with 2 weeks of observing a teacher and then you're certified as a teacher? What do you think of something like that, knowing that you've been into peer collaboration and mentoring and things like that?
I think it's very easy for those who are not a part of the educational community to say anyone can teach. It's just babysitting. All of those negative terms that have been thrown at us as educators, and when you are in the mix of it, there is so much that you have to be aware of, from the curriculum to the lessons to the timing, as you said, talking with parents, collaborating with other teachers, being professional. A 2-week training, I don't think, would prepare any teacher for really the
demands
yes
of the profession, because it is, like you said, it's so much more than just walking into a classroom and having a great lesson. And then there's the connections that you need to make with students.
Right.
Students and parents that are so very important. And you actually went through a very intensive professional development experience this year called the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards. Tell us a little bit about what that is and what it was like for you as you embarked on that journey.
I took a course offered through the Hamburg Teacher Center with the Lake Effect group led by Lori Mancuso and Marianne Dates. And I was just hooked because I wanted to grow professionally. I had already had 14 years teaching experience. I should be good. I shouldn't have to want to improve myself, but we all know that education is changing on a daily basis. And in order to meet those demands as an educator, you've got to be willing to strive and go above and beyond your required duties.
So I
thought National Board was the way to go. So they had changed the program from a 1-year training or program per se to a 3-year. You have up to 3 years. I started when they changed everything over. So there were 4 components. They only released components 1 and 2 my first year. The second year they released component 3. And last year they released component 4. So I was at the mercy of the changing of the guard. We had some study groups. We met monthly, sometimes bi-monthly. I'm grateful for the candidate support team.
What did you do in these support sessions? Did you review each other's lessons?
We went through the standards. The National Board standards themselves are intense and completely different than the Common Core Learning standards because they're teaching standards. So it was kind of bringing it back to the old school way of teaching, that mindset of the child really leading the learning and not relying on scripted programs and really being creative and collaborative. So the National Board Certification Program as a whole has really brought me back to my roots as a teacher, brought me back to my philosophy of education that I created in 1999 when I graduated, of being a lifelong learner and instilling those values in our students of how they can be creative and question and wonder and hands-on and all of that good teaching. And that's why I've loved this process. It's been painful, it's exhausting, it requires so much of your time above and beyond what you're doing in the classroom. But what it's done to my lessons, my grade level team will tell you that though they smile when I have an idea, I've probably driven them absolutely insane with the things that I want to do with our students, because I've just been, a spark's been ignited in me because of the National Board process.
Well, for our viewers that are not familiar with the National Board process, or any teachers out there that want to learn more about what the National Board process is, we're going to show a little video clip right now that explains the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards.
In 1983, the National Commission of Excellence in Education released its landmark report called A Nation at Risk. Findings then are still true today.
Research has shown that the single most important factor in student achievement is the quality of the teacher in front of the classroom.
Since 1987, the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards has been dedicated to advance student learning and achievement by establishing definitive standards. The process of becoming National Board Certified is based on 5 core propositions. Teachers are committed to students and their learning.
Teachers know the subjects they teach and how to teach those subjects to students.
Teachers are responsible for managing and monitoring student learning.
Teachers think systematically about their practice and learn from experience.
Teachers are members of learning communities.
Board certification is the authentic opportunity to grow as a teacher in ways that are hard to even imagine. What it does is it allows you to look deeply at your practice and truly transform who you are in the classroom and who you can be on a district and state level.
I realized I was done with my master's and I needed to still move forward and grow as a teacher in my classroom, but also to contribute to the community.
I had spoken to many people about being an elementary school teacher, and their response always was, if you're such a good teacher, why don't you teach high school? Why don't you become an administrator? So for me, getting National Board Certification was getting recognition for what I do every day in my classroom.
I was a teacher for 25 years, and I guess I really felt like I wanted to reignite something in myself. I was still very passionate about teaching, but you sort of get in a bit of a rut. I really pursued it because I really felt it would ignite something in me, and it definitely did.
As an administrator, National Board Certified teachers are an invaluable resource. They've helped run numerous professional development workshops, and in addition to that, they've also helped mentor younger teachers.
They're extremely reflective. They work really hard and very collaborative. And they're also sort of on the cutting edge of what's out there.
One of the things that we've seen with our National Board Certified teachers is they work to enhance programs that are in place and make them even better, or to institute programs that represent areas that we need to develop more.
The elements of National Board that help in the classroom are also very relevant for working one-on-one with students, or really trying to be a student's advocate in every sense.
It was an amazing accomplishment, achieving that goal, and then the reality sets in that you expect more of yourself now when you carry that tag of National Board Certification. So I definitely take a look at every lesson that I do and kind of judge myself with a different standard, a higher standard.
It is the most reflective process that a teacher can possibly go through.
Being certified as a National Board teacher in English completely pulled the carpet out from underneath me in my teaching style. It's not just what, it's why and how, and entering the world in a new way.
I would encourage all teachers to seek National Board Certification because I feel that that is something that will pay dividends well beyond the process of achieving their certification.
The teachers who engage in the process go through an experience that is probably more professionally rewarding than they could have ever have anticipated.
You're probably a wonderful teacher already, but you are going to learn things about yourself through this process that you didn't know, and you are going to become a better teacher as a result of it. I think the process is just very, very powerful.
I'm a Nationally Board Certified teacher.
I'm a National Board Certified teacher.
I'm a National Board Certified teacher.
Who educates and assists our state students, provides medical care and support, and strengthens our communities? We do. NYSUT members are classroom teachers, college faculty and staff, nurses, and healthcare professionals. We're cafeteria workers, bus drivers, teacher aides, and teaching assistants. We're more than 600,000 caring, supportive professionals living and working in communities across New York State. We are NYSUT. We make a difference.
All right, we're back with Robyn Brydalski from Ben Franklin Elementary School. Robyn, tell us a little bit about your lesson that we'll see today.
So the lesson that I created for my students was based off of a science unit on vertebrates and invertebrates. Our district has been gracious with allowing our teachers to become coaches. So we have a district-wide science coach, and there's new science standards that are coming out. And of course, I was curious about the standards, so I started working with our science coach, Lisa Davidson. And I said, I really want to get a head start on these standards. So the neat thing is the students have to be really in control of their learning with science, where you're moving away from textbook and you're moving more into the hands-on application where they're problem solving and reasoning.
And thinking critically.
And critical thinking skills, absolutely. So what I did is I gave them some background on vertebrates and invertebrates, even going back to the simple KWL chart, so we knew what they already, what the students know, what they want to know, what they learned. Then I incorporated technology the following day. We looked at different videos on vertebrates and invertebrates, and then this lesson was kind of like that culminating activity. I wanted the students to demonstrate their understanding by creating either a vertebrate, invertebrate, or both with craft materials or food. And they had no idea that it was coming. So when I unveiled the table and they saw food sitting on the table and pipe cleaners and all these different clay, everything was there. And when I told them that they had to create a vertebrate or invertebrate, they just went crazy. They were so excited. And they had to incorporate those characteristics. They had to be able to say, this is a vertebrate because it has X, Y, or Z. This is an invertebrate because, and the activity went right up until the end of the day. And when they left school, they were so proud. As we were walking out to the buses, they were running up to our principal, showing her their creations. It was fun, and they got it. They understood because the learning was then in their hands, and that was truly powerful.
Well, let's take a look. I want to be in your third grade class.
Anytime.
By the way, it sounds like fun. Let's take a look what happens inside Robyn's classroom.
So who can tell me, what have we been learning about in science the past couple of days, please? Vertebrates and invertebrates, very good.
We have to gather information from a variety of resources and we compare and contrast. One of the things that I heard yesterday is there was some conflicting facts on how many groups of invertebrates there were and how many groups of vertebrates there were. So it's very good as researchers, because that's what scientists are. As researchers, you've got to start to really take apart that information, and you've got to start figuring out what's the good stuff and what's the stuff, the extra stuff that I don't need. If you read something in your science book and you heard it in the video yesterday, and you read an article today and it has the same information, could we say that's reliable?
Yes.
Absolutely. So you're going to be scientists today, and I'm going to explain what we're going to do right now. At your seats, you have some articles. Each group has a different article. Your task is to work together as a group to read the articles, and you're going to pull some key details.
Here's some old information. Humans, that's me, are mammals. We read that on Monday, didn't we? That's old information. Here's something new. There are more invertebrates than vertebrates in the world. How many of you were surprised by that yesterday? You shared that with me as we were looking at the videos. This was something gross, but interesting. A worm has a soft sac full of liquid to support it. It's science. Is science always pretty and flowers? No. No, it's not. That's why we love science. Five classes of fish. There's 9 classes of vertebrates. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yes.
And 5 classes of fish. There's 5 different kinds of fish in the world.
How many of you feel really confident about your understanding of vertebrates and invertebrates? You feel like you could have a conversation with someone about vertebrates and invertebrates?
2, 1.
Your task is going to be to create a vertebrate using any of the resources here. I'm pretty sure that this is a cow.
I thought that's a dog.
Maybe it's a dog. And to make, maybe it is a panda bear.
I was gonna make a panda.
It has the 4 legs made out of what?
Pretzel.
And I use this ginormous marshmallow.
He's got eyes too. You see him? So this is my what? Vertebrate. And I was able to give you some properties that he has that makes him a vertebrate.
Yes.
And then I have this beautiful jellyfish.
That's what that's my invertebrate.
I was just thinking that those would make great wings.
This for my tail. Whoa. That's a good idea. Yeah.
So wait, could you use a giant marshmallow?
Giant marshmallow.
Right? And the eyeballs?
Creative. Yeah. I got my pufferfish done.
Don't mind me and make it stick. Marshmallow?
Like that.
In listening to your conversations, you're talking about the difference between a vertebrate and an invertebrate. Not one person had a problem with coming up with one of each, and I'm proud of you for that. That was fantastic. Nice job, everyone.
I feel like everything I do in my position now really stems from my experience with National Board Certification. Everything that you gain from that process, you will use the rest of your career. A teacher who has become nationally board certified is someone who has a passion for education. They are people who are leaders in the school, they're leaders in the community. They are people who you go to when you need something. They're just the best.
Yes, okay.
One of the things you think about when you go through board certification is motivation. You want your students to be motivated, you want your teachers to be motivated. They become more of a leader in the school and also a leader in the community. I believe it opens doors for a lot of teachers. Those teachers are the ones that are asked to spearhead a committee. Those are the teachers who are going to be asked to lead in a community service type project. It's life-changing. It changes you as a teacher. It changes the way you think about your practice and your profession. It changes you into a leader. If you're not one before, you will become one afterward.
We're back, and I thought that was a wonderful lesson. Thank you so much for sharing your students with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. It's very apparent how much energy and how much enthusiasm and really passion that you have for the teaching profession. So tell us a little bit about why you wanted to become a teacher, and then maybe some other roles you have for the district as well, and things like that.
I am the product of two teachers. So perhaps I wanted to become a teacher by default, but when I was in high school and college, I would volunteer. My mother taught at Hamilton Elementary in Kenmore, and she was a reading specialist. And so anytime I had a free moment, I would go and volunteer at her school. I just loved working with the kids. I loved helping the teachers. And what I loved more than anything was watching my mom work her craft.
And what was your mom's name?
Tony Brown.
Tony Brown.
Yes.
And if anybody had Mrs. Brown as a teacher.
she's still volunteering. She volunteers in my daughter's class at Lindbergh. So she loves it. She still performs her craft every day. And the powerful thing was watching a child struggle with reading, but watching that moment when it all clicked and seeing the pride in my mom's face and seeing the pride in that child's face, and I said, that's it. That's what I want more than anything.
You are also active in your union. Tell us a little bit about that.
I am. I am one of our executive board at-large members, and I started, once I got to Jefferson Elementary, I became a building rep and a senior building rep, and I just felt that learning about the union was another powerful aspect of this profession, and all that NYSUT does and all that the Kenmore Teachers Association does for children, for advocating for children, what's best for our teachers. It really was and still is a learning experience for me. So as an at-large member, I work with collaborating with our community I am involved with the Kenmore Community Cleanup Day with the Kenmore Village Improvement Society, and we get a huge group out at the last Saturday in August cleaning up Kenmore, going up and down Delaware Ave, Delaware Road. We're all over the place.
So all the Kenmore people, mark that on your calendar, last Saturday in August, coming up next year. You want to make sure that you're there.
And they know because I hound and say, please come out. We get student groups. It's truly fantastic. The other thing I do is we really work with member engagement, getting our members to get involved at their comfort level with all of the things that our union and NYSUT have to offer. And, you know, just a side note with National Board Certification, NYSUT offers the Schenker Grant that helps offset the cost of the certification process for National Board. And, you know, we think about, well, you know, what does the union do for us? That is one thing, you know, if you're wondering, if you're on the fence about becoming nationally board certified, there is financial support there to help you.
Yes, that's huge. I actually did apply for the Schenker Grant when I was a younger teacher to earn my national board certification as a middle level generalist. And I wouldn't have been able to do it as a young teacher, you know, struggling in my first few years, had I not had the availability of the Schenker Grant.
Yes.
So I know that we just received more funding for the Schenker Grant. So those of you out there that are teachers that are thinking of applying, you can go right to the NYSUT.org website and check out the Google the Albert Schenker Grant, and that you can apply for that this year to start the national board process during this school year. So it'd be great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Robyn.
Thank you.
We enjoyed having you and enjoyed seeing all the enthusiasm and excitement on your students' faces when they saw the manipulatives for the lesson and the materials that you prepared. And we look forward to having you again sometime. So thank you very much for being on Inside the Classroom.
Thank you.
We get you started early. We stay with you in middle school. We see you through graduation, college, and beyond, realizing potential every step of the way. We're New York State United Teachers, 600,000 professionals dedicated to excellence in public education. But that's not all. We also provide healthcare and human services to New Yorkers of all ages. We're NYSUT, caring for patients, working for students, working with our communities.
Inside the Classroom is brought to you by NYSUT, a union of more than 600,000 professionals dedicated to education, human services, and healthcare. NYSUT is proud to partner with parents in advocating for what students need. We stand for excellence in public education from preschool through post-grad. Find us online at nysut.org.